Hey guys! Welcome back to our channel, What Happened? Today, we're embarking on an abandoned journey, exploring the macabre origins of some of our favorite fairy tales. Buckle up, because the stories that inspire fairy tales are much heavier than you can imagine. Let's start with Sleeping Beauty. The Disney version features Princess Aurora, put into a magical sleep by an evil fairy, only to be awakened by a prince's kiss. However, the original story, Sol, Luna Italia, by Giambattista Basile, is far more disturbing. In it, the princess falls asleep after having a thorn of thread stuck under her fingernail. She only awakens after giving birth to twins, conceived while she was unconscious by a king who found her and abused her in her sleep. Next, we have the iconic Cinderella story. In the version popularized by Disney, Cinderella is a heroine who overcomes adversity with the help of her fairy godmother. However, in the original Brothers Grimm version, Cinderella's sisters are much more desperate and cruel. They even mutilate their own feet, cutting off fingers and buttons, in an attempt to make a glass slipper. And, as if that weren't enough, at the end, pigeons peck out their eyes as punishment for their evil deeds. Now, let's discuss Snow White. The version we all use features an evil witch trying to kill Snow White out of her envy and vanity. In the original Brothers Grimm version, however, the villain is Snow White's own mother. And instead of falling off a cliff, the evil queen is forced to dance to her death in red-hot iron shoes. In The Little Thumb, the original version is much more forgiving than the story of a tiny boy who uses his intelligence to escape from various dangerous situations. In fact, Little Thumb and his brothers are abandoned in the forest by their parents, who are going through hard times and can no longer feed them. The story continues with moments of cannibalism and violence. Another story is The Little Mermaid. Hans Christian Andersen's version is far more tragic than a Disney adaptation. In fact, the mermaid not only loses the prince to another woman, but also faces a terrible choice: kill the prince to become a mermaid again, or die and turn into sea foam. In the end, she chooses the foam. Our next stop is Puss in Boots. This story, popularized by Charles Perrault, seems harmless enough, featuring a cunning cat who uses trickery and deceit to secure his master's fortune. However, the original version features a much more manipulative and unscrupulous cat who doesn't hesitate to lie, cheat, and even kill to get what he wants. Now, let's talk about The Ugly Duckling. Hans Christian Andersen's original version is not just the story of a duckling who becomes a swan. In fact, the duckling suffers a series of abuses and mistreatment for being different, before finally transforming into a beautiful swan. Next we have Rapunzel. In the Brothers Grimm version, when the prince meets Rapunzel, they have an affair. Rapunzel becomes pregnant and is banished to the desert by the witch, where she gives birth to twins. The prince, in trying to rescue her, falls from a tower and is blinded. Only after many years does he find Rapunzel and her children, and his tears cure his blindness. Finally, let's talk about The Three Little Pigs. In the original version, the piggies didn't escape all unscathed. In fact, the first two little pigs, who built their houses of straw and wood, are devoured by the wolf, leaving only the little pig who tried his brick house. And there are 5 more fairy tales that, in their original versions, were far more lenient and macabre stories than the watered-down versions we know today. It reminds us that sometimes the stories we tell children have deep roots in reality, full of warnings and lessons that have been softened over time. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.